Still here with another Transgirl CNC where we talk about comics, cartoons, and other awesome nerd shit. So, I told you I didn't know what we'd be talking about today, but obviously I figured it out. As you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about the Phoenix Resurrection, but before we do that, we're going to take a look at something that you might have missed. This is, of course, the segment where we take a look at something, a manga, an anime, a comic book, a cartoon, that maybe you just didn't get into for whatever reason, just didn't spark your interest, you missed it somehow, but I'm enjoying it, and I think that you might be able to enjoy it too. So this week I'm suggesting to you, Moonstruck from Image Comics. Now this is from the same person who brought us the Lumberjanes, and if you knew anything about me, you don't, but if you did, you would know that I adore the Lumberjanes. Adore, whatever, I love it. I love the Lumberjanes. We're going to talk about them someday, but not today. Anyway, this follows Julie the werewolf. She's the blood one, and in her life, her world is full of magic. She just wants to be normal, though. Like, she does not want to be a werewolf. She's kind of embarrassed about it, but she's trying to just live a normal life, and that includes dating other cute werewolf girls and having a best friend centaur. Things go really crazy when they go into a free magic show, and everything just goes nuts from there. Definitely check it out. Maybe we'll do a review video about it on this channel. There are currently 5 issues with more on the way, so definitely get into this. This is Moonstruck from Image Comics. Alright, so that's out of the way. Done with that. Let's talk now about Phoenix Resurrection. So, first of all, interesting story, kinda. One thing I didn't like about it was the very first issue, they offered a bunch of different covers for it. They offered a bunch of different covers for all of them. But they offered a lot for the first one, and then they canceled all those covers and went with the most expensive cover that they were offering and forced it on everybody. So, that sucks. Didn't like it. Never do it again, please. They'll probably do it again. But, let's talk about this. Now, I'm not sure if I've talked about this before, but in the book Jean Grey, Jean Grey is like young Jean Grey. We're talking young Jean Grey, time displaced from '05. She's telling everybody that the Phoenix is on its way, it's returning, she can feel it, and everybody thinks that she's crazy, and then she goes missing, right? She totally goes missing. We won't talk about what happened, maybe we'll talk about it in a different video, because I know what happened. But she goes missing, and all of a sudden, weird things start happening, across the globe. The X-Men get called into a small town where they're not used to, mutant activities at all, and there's floating children, just two floating children who aren't mutants at all. Their eyes are black. They say some really weird, creepy shit, and then everything's fine. For them, at least. It's a really weird fucking thing. So Kitty, head of basically all the X-Men, she's leading the Xavier Institute, or the Jean Grey School, whatever they're calling it now, I don't know. But they call her in, she calls everybody in, she's like, look, this is what we dealt with this morning, and after we were done dealing with it, we found out that there are 3 really weird energy signatures across the planet that are kind of similar to the energy signature for the thing we dealt with today. So we're going to break up into teams. I'm picking the teams, deal with it. If you don't like it, I don't care. I'm the leader. Whatever. Kitty Pryde, kicking ass, taking names. So she puts herself on a team with Nightcrawler and Colossus and a couple other people. She sends basically the X-Force, or the X-Team, the team with claws, Sabretooth, Wolverine, Domino, Laura, up to the North Pole. And she sends Rogue with the young, time-displaced X-Men to France. And they all go to these different separate things, and everything appears normal, nothing happening. And then enemies from long ago, not they're enemies from, past times, like members of the Hellfire Club, a weird green guy whose name I can't remember, sorry. He appears, and young Wolverine, young Logan appears, and it's crazy. And so they have to fight these people that have just appeared, even though they're, either dead or gone or something. And then those specters, or whatever you want to call them, they just disappear. And the energy trace signature is gone. So They all regroup and they're like, what the was that about? We have no idea. Meanwhile, we actually do see that Jean Grey is older Jean Grey, not Titus Place from '05. But older, original Jean Grey is alive, or at least somewhere. Maybe it's an afterlife. Who knows at this point? But we see her working in like a diner in like a small town. It's really weird. She's living with her parents again. Scott, Cyclops, older, modern Cyclops, the one who's dead, is there trying to pick her up from her house for a date. It's really weird. It's like, it's weird. I'm trying to think of a good metaphor for it, but it's just like, it's very Twilight Zone, I guess, is how I would put that. But, talking a lot. But yeah, so she's having this weird life in this weird place. It's like a callback to a simpler time, more or less. Anyway, moving back to Kitty and the group, she's like, okay, we don't know what's going on. We have no idea what's happening. But Old Man Logan's like, I know what's happening. I know what's going on. You know what's going on. You just won't admit it to yourself. And she's like, look, we don't know. And he's like, no, we do. We fucking know. We know it's the Phoenix. We've seen this before. What I like about Old Man Logan is that even though his reality was a little different from the main timeline, a lot of the same stuff from the main timeline apparently did happen in his timeline too. So he's able to kind of, see the patterns more or less. He's like, no, this is the Phoenix. I know it's the Phoenix, and when I'm right, and I will be right, you're going to have to admit it. And she's like, look, we don't know it's the Phoenix. Let's just, go check this stuff out. Please, can we just go check this stuff out? And he's like, go ahead, track it. Look for the Phoenix. And she's like, we can't use Cerebro because all our telekinetics are out of commission for reasons. Every time they try to track this energy, they get put out. He's like, yeah, they're trying to track a more powerful telepath, right? And she's like, shut up. I'm the boss. We're out of telekinetics. Let's go check this shit out. So they go check this shit out. More people from their past, the more enemies from their past appear that they have to fight. Those enemies disappear. They come back, and Cable's there. Cable's there now. And Cable's like, hey, you're not a telepath. I'm a telepath. I can tell you what's I can track this stuff. I'm super powerful, right? Remember when I was Jesus? He was never Jesus. It was just he was practically Jesus. Look, it was a thing, all right? It was all in Cable Deadpool, which is a really good run. Read it. I'm excited for the new movie, even if the robot arm is going to distract. Anyway, that's not important. Moving on. So Cable hooks up to Cerebro. They're trying to tell him how to use it because Rachel, she's knocked out from earlier. And he's like, all right. And he gives it a go. As Cerebro blows up. But what he does find out is that, yes, it's Phoenix. It is the Phoenix. And he knew, and then Logan's like, ha! Pay up! He didn't really say that. But he is like, I told y'all, I knew. I knew it was the Phoenix, and you knew it was the Phoenix, and we should have just done that before, but how are we going to find the Phoenix? We are out of telepaths to use. And Kitty's like, I know one telepath that's left that we haven't used yet that we can use. And everybody's like, who? But we're going to get right to that because we have to check back in on Jean. Jean is having a crazy time. She's starting to kind of remember things from her actual life. It's causing problems of wherever she is. Reality is breaking down wherever she is, but she can't see that it's breaking down. For example, whatever way she's looking, everything is nice and normal and calm, but everything behind her is on fire and dead bodies and explosions because, I don't know. And if she turns back over that way, boom, it's all nice and clear and whatever, and fire and explosions, and it's really awkward. It's really the whole place is really like that, but it can't tell Jean that it's like that because it would wake her up too soon. Her car breaks down, she has to take it to a mechanic, it turns out the mechanic is Logan. It's really weird. Like, there's a whole scene with Magneto where he's in the cafe that Jean's working at, and at the same time, he's also fighting the X-Men. Like, and it's really, I don't think they don't ever explain what these things are other than manifestations of the Phoenix, because the Magneto manifestation is like chiding the people who are taking him on. Like, come on, can't you beat me already? Can't we be done with this? Shouldn't you already have beaten me? Oh, can I get some coffee? You know, it's like, it's really weird because he is in one place at one point, and at the same time in another place, but he's like back and forth between them as, you know, they're trying to make sense of what's going on. So, back with Kitty and the gang, it is revealed that Kitty was talking about the one and only Emma Frost, who is, I don't know how she knew where Emma was. Maybe Emma just gave her number, like, hey, if you need anything, remember I tried to kill you all last year. And there was that whole thing with Secret Empire, where, you know, I tried to take over, where I was just given it like a state, like, for all mutants to live in, that I just went with, even though there was a bunch of Nazi shit happening. Whatever, I don't care, I'm Emma Frost. So yeah, I don't know how they found Emma. I don't know how Kitty knew where Emma was. They go right to her. And Kitty's like, look, the Phoenix is back. And Emma's like, yeah, I know the Phoenix is back. I got a visit from Jean Grey and herself. It's really weird. Read Jean Grey. Anyway, and Kitty's like, why didn't you say anything anybody? She's like, because I don't care. I'm Emma Frost, and my character's been mishandled the last couple of years, and now I'm fucking nuts. I'm like, well, fine. Can you just help us find out where the Phoenix is so we can, you know, try to curb this as fast as possible, because people tend to die when the Phoenix is around. And Emma's like, I know exactly where the Phoenix is. I've known where the Phoenix is, and yeah, I will tell you, just go to New Mexico. And they're like, that's a dumb place for the Phoenix to be, is in New Mexico. And she's like, well, yeah, but the Phoenix is there. Trust me. If I know Jean, and I do know Jean, it's in New Mexico. Trust me, because Scott stuff. Cyclops. Ugh. Like, Cyclops went fucking nutty at the end, too. Like, not important. My feelings for Cyclops are not important to the story. So, they go to New Mexico, and right away they see nothing. Absolutely nothing. Everybody's like, well, of course there's nothing. We were trusting Emma Frost. Emma Frost is a liar. We know that she's a liar. Like, why do we even trust her? Let's go home. Everybody pack up. We're going home. And Kitty's like, no, wait, something's not right. We're not even looking around. We're not checking into anything. Something's telling us to leave. Something is here and trying to make us leave. And just like that, a giant red dome thing appears and a doorway for them to walk into. And Logan's like, this is a trap. And Kitty's like, yes, it's a trap, but that's where Jean is. And Logan's like, well, fine. I'm going in. And he goes in, and everybody follows him. And as soon as they get in, more dead people from their past start popping up and attacking them. It's like a freaking free-for-all. It's a brawl. It's amazing. But eventually they work through all the people and they get to the cafe where Jean is. And they only know that she's there is because Logan spots her taking out the trash. Literally, the trash in a bag, into a dumpster, back into the cafe. So, moving around a lot. So, like, okay, we found Jean. What do we do? And Kitty's like, well, let's, or somebody was like, well, let's just nuke this and be done with this. But but other people are like, but it's Jean in there. Maybe there's a way we can reason with her before we just kill her. It's kind of a little back and forth, and finally young Scott pops up and he's like, I'll go in, because I know Jean. I love her, and she loves me, and I'm going to go solve this. And Logan's like, no, you're not. That's not your Jean. You didn't love this woman. You don't know this woman. You don't know what she's been through. I know what she's been through because I've lived this once already. Kinda. I I know it's going to happen. Or I don't know what's going to happen because this is a totally situation that I don't know anything about. But I do know Jean because I've been with Jean when she's been through like all this Phoenix shit before. Not particularly this point, but that's not the point. That's not your Jean. That's my Jean, more or less. So Logan goes in and he's trying to talk with Jean. She's like, you look familiar. Why do you look familiar? Where do I know you from? He's like, I guess I just have one of those faces. Or maybe you do know me. Maybe you need to think about it a little bit. Meanwhile, there's a woman in the cafe as well. She's been there kind of the whole time. And you don't know who she is or who she could be. And she's like, okay, you're freaking out, Jean. You need to leave. You need to go. Get out of here. Bye-bye. And Logan fucking stabs her in the face. In the head. She dies. And he's like, alright, Jean. Figure this shit out. Or don't. I don't care anymore. But do it fast, because otherwise you're going to have to, deal with the consequences. And so he leaves, and the whole time he's in there, they're like a giant incarnation of the Phoenix looking down at everybody else and like, what do we do about this? But then the Phoenix incarnation is gone as when Logan leaves, and it turns out that the woman that he stabbed was the Phoenix in some kind of weird body thing. And now the Phoenix is pissed. The shell is broken because Jean remembers who she is and what's happened in her life and what's gone on. And so her and the Phoenix are going back and forth. The Phoenix is like, you're supposed to be with me. You're supposed to be with me. And Jean's like, no, I was never supposed to be with you. I was never supposed to wield that kind of power. You're not good for me, and I'm not really good for you. I know you think I am, but I'm not. And I know that you're not good for me, so we can't do this anymore. I can't be a god anymore. That's too much power. It's too much responsibility. I can't handle that. And basically, Jean breaks up with the Phoenix. And the Phoenix goes off and does its own thing while Jean is now alive. And that's kind of how the comic ends. And we're going to pick up, I believe, in X-Men Red with kind of like the aftermath of that. And maybe, yeah, that's kind of all there is to it. It's an interesting story. It's interesting that they're bringing back Jean without the Phoenix. I kind of do like that a whole lot. And yeah, there you have it. That's the whole thing, so we're done. Thoughts on this? Pretty okay. What are we talking about next time? We're talking about Slam and Slam the Next Jam from Boombox Studios. I really like that comic. And we're going to talk about it. But until next time, I'm Fire Princess Lily. This has been Transgirl CNC. Love comics, love cartoons, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.